I am your host, FatDag, and you're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations, and I'll include them as part of the show. Before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. I am honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello, welcome to episode 59 of Wise Advice. And we want to talk today about whether or not you can be an online member and be successful. As a lot of this we know, the program has two distinct definitions. You can be an online member, you can attend the meetings in person, and a lot of people struggle on which way to go with that. And what I've always come to realize is that there is no right answer. As we work this program, no matter how we work it, there are no two people who work the program the exact same. So what happens is some people can be very successful online. Some people need the accountability of a meeting room. Some people find a leader that resonates with them and they work really well with that leader, and some people don't. So there really, there's a lot to discuss. We'll get a couple emails. We'll discuss it. Before I open the show, we do a Facebook Live, and the consensus there was that it depends. Many people, I think we saw an 88-pound person. We saw a 76-pound person, I think that was the number, who all did very well online only. And then, of course, we know there's many people who did it without being online and had to go to the meeting room and get it done. So the answer truly is it depends. So we'll dig into that in a second. My latest two posts on Connect and Facebook talked about this, hair color, right? So I picked up the wrong box of hair color today. And, it starts to get gray on the side. So I throw some color in there every once in a while, but I picked up the wrong box. And I tell you, this is what's kind of cool is when you get to your goal weight, when you reach goal and you feel so good about everything that's going on, you just don't care. And I know there's many people who don't care already on their own, but I'm telling you, the not care factor is significantly different when you're at your goal weight. And so I get up this morning, put in the hair color, and I was like, ooh, that's a little darker than normal. And I'm like, yep, I'm moving on. I like it. So if you're listening to this online only, if you listen to the podcast and you don't have the app, then you don't get the full extent of the video. The video gets released on the app. So go ahead and download the app. Go to iTunes or Google Play. You can get the app and you can see exactly what we're talking here. So neat way for us to continue to stay engaged. But it looks like we're about, a week or so into the Apple app, roughly 1,100 downloads of the app. So man, it just blows my mind that you guys continue to support the way that you do. I'm honored to be your wingman. Truly I am. When I was decided that this was what I was going to start doing was to just kind of grow this community in a sense where I want to reach more people. I want to help more people. And the fact that, we release an app and then within 3 days, 1,100 people download it, lets me know that we're making some progress. I get emails daily from folks who said, without the podcast is they would be struggling. And then the podcast picks them up, and the email newsletter that I do reaches them at a point when they were about ready to give up. So all of that it continues to be my honor to do that with you and to walk this journey with you. As I opened the show and said, I'm honored to walk with you because I believe in you. I believe you have the ability to get this done. So here we go. So can you do this online? Are there enough tools out there now to get this done online? We have podcasts, we have the apps, we have trackers, we have support groups. There's a handful of groups all over the internet where you can kind of find your tribe. So can you do it online? So that's what we're going to talk about. So first up is Heidi. Heidi writes in, says, "Hi, FatDag," and then says, "Is that a proper greeting? Well, I love your podcast series and really find it to be the daily dose of inspiration that I need. Between the podcast and Connect, I get so much inspiration and encouragement and support. I want to share with you some of the best news. As of last Friday, I've officially lost 30% of my start weight. 63.4 pounds to be precise. I was ecstatic. I've been on a very long journey starting 3.5 years ago, starting with a nutritionist, tracking foods on my own. That worked for a while, slow and steady for about 2 years. A few emotional troubles and family drama got in the way, and that complacency set in that you talk so often about. I'd lost about 60 pounds, and then I regained about 15, leading me to join Weight Watchers last December, 5 days before Christmas. The plan, the tracker, the app, and most especially Connect have all been keys to my success, and I'm so grateful I found my way here. Please help me celebrate 30%. I am online only, and these celebrations you read on the podcast are so inspiring. I have 10% left to hit my final goal, and I know that's just a matter of time and focus. Many thanks again for all your efforts. Such a gift to our community. Most sincerely, Heidi. Well, Heidi, to open the greeting, FatDag certainly is the greeting. It's the term I use. I started off not liking myself, and so I was FatDag. Now I'm just FatDag. I just combine it into one word. So it's absolutely a proper greeting. But let's get back to you. 30%. Well done. 63.4 pounds. You don't lose 63.4 pounds on accident. You just don't. 63.4 pound weight loss happens because you're focused, you're disciplined, you're fully engaged in your why. You know exactly why you're doing this. You know exactly what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and you're getting it done. I'm absolutely proud of you. 30% is absolutely one of those numbers that when we started the journey, a lot of us don't even think that's even possible. A lot of us give up in that complacency trap long before we even get to a 30% weight loss. Because let's face it, when you get down 63 pounds, you feel really good. You feel really great about yourself. It's very easy at that point to just say, yeah, this is good enough. And I'm done with that. So, complacency is a piece that I want to attack that all the time. It absolutely, it's the worst part of this journey for us. It attacks every single one of us. It attacks us differently. But let me describe it for a little bit for you, because I know you got stuck in that rhythm for a little bit. When I say the complacency trap, what I mean is when you join Weight Watchers, you come in, or wherever, any weight loss program you start with your why, and you say, I have a goal. And generally, we either start with, I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose for this event. Very rarely do we say, I want to be, at a healthy BMI, or I want to be, to a point where I no longer want to lose any weight, because that piece for a lot of us is just such an unknown area. We don't know how to get there. Not only do we not know how to get there, we don't even know if getting there is even possible. So what happens is, because we don't know what the true end of this journey looks like. And when I say the end of the journey, I say the end of the weight loss journey, not the end of the maintenance journey. But we have no idea what the end of that journey looks like. It's something we've never, ever experienced. So somewhere along the line, as we start losing weight, we start feeling really good. And because we don't know what the finish line is, where it is, we suddenly say, this is good enough. I feel good. I feel good enough. I feel great. I feel great enough, because we don't know what to compare it to. So it sounds like at one point that hit you, and then that causes you to gain 15 pounds back. Because when you say good enough, you slowly start letting some of these bad habits creep back in. We know you can't gain 50 pounds overnight. So therefore, 1 or 2 meals becomes a little bit bigger than before, because you're happy with yourself. And then slowly that leads to a 15-pound gain. I'm so proud of you for being able to reel it back in. For a lot, I've seen many, many folks who get all the way down to a goal weight, or real close to their goal weight, and complacency sets in, and they climb all the way back up. It happens all the time. I'm glad and proud to say that you battled through it, and you're well on your way. So congrats again on your 30%. It's absolutely amazing. Your discipline focus is really, really getting it done. And the fact that you hit 30%, you can hit goal. Truly. If you hit your 30% weight loss, there's nothing different in the program. It's just continuing to stay focused, continuing to stay disciplined, continuing to work the program exactly how you've worked it, and you reach goal. So congrats on reaching goal prematurely. I know you're going to get there because your mind's in the right place. Reaching goal happens in the mind first, happens on the scale second, and you're clearly on your way. Sheri out of Johnstown, Colorado writes in, says, I love your podcast. I really appreciate you taking on all that you have for your inspiration. I've hit my 50 pounds gone forever. I started July 27th, 2016, and I spent the last 6 weeks or so hovering near the 50-pound gone mark. I've got a lot more to go, and I'm already reaping some of the benefits of the 50 pounds gone, and I'm not coming back. Thank you, Sheri. Sheri, thank you. Absolutely. I opened the show before, it'll be on the video version of this, but I opened the show talking about, I take this on because, I have not been happier. I've been a happy guy in my entire life, but there's a different level of happy that I reached when I hit goal. And I didn't know it was possible. I didn't even know what it felt like. I didn't even know what to expect when that happened. So I want to share that feeling with you because I want you to feel it as well. I want you to step on that scale and go, yeah, I no longer want to lose any weight. I'm telling you, it's incredibly different. And so that's why I take all this on, because it took me joining Weight Watchers 5 times before I figured it out. Every time I joined, I lost some weight. I got complacent. I gained the weight back. And I really wish I didn't waste 16 years, and I wish 16 years ago, how cool would it have been if 16 years ago when I first joined Weight Watchers, if I would have hit my goal then, and I would still be in maintenance mode 16 years later. I have no regrets. I don't look back in that regard, but I also just wonder. And so not only just wonder, is I want you to not fail this time. I want you to have the complete success that you know is possible, and I want you to have every tool and resource possible. I want you to hear from somebody who's done it and who continues to do it so that you know it can be done. So thank you for that. Great job, Sheri. Very proud of you. Next up, Rachel writes in. Rachel says, hi, I just wanted to say how much I enjoy your podcast. I listen to various weight loss podcasts, and yours is the most applicable to my own life. Listening to others who are on Weight Watchers is more relatable than listening to a generic healthy living podcast. I've lost 40 pounds on Weight Watchers and hit my goal back in May of 2016. I am online only, and so I don't have the financial perks of Lifetime. I've maintained my weight within a 3-pound range since then, which I'm thrilled about. My question for you is about maintenance. It's so easy to get excited about the losses on the scale when you're in losing phase. How do you recommend staying motivated when you're not seeing those losses week after week? I do try to celebrate being in my 3-pound maintenance range, but sometimes it's hard when I haven't seen major losses in over a year. Thanks for all you do, Rachel. Well, Rachel, first of all, I agree, and so about the whole, there's a handful of podcasts out there. And so the reason that I got inspired to do this one was for exactly what you said, is this is relatable to folks who are currently working the program. We all know the secrets to healthy living, right? Living healthily, getting more exercise, all that stuff is not a secret. None of them, in my opinion, attack the root issue, and that's you have to want this more than anything else. You have to know why you're doing this, and you have to stay focused on it, and you have to stay disciplined on it. So if I told you to get up and walk every day and said, hey, you can go for a walk, and here's all the great places you can go for a walk, if that doesn't fit into your program, that doesn't fit into your why, you don't stay motivated. So I wanted to find an area where I knew that I needed the help when I was looking for the help, and I want to provide that help back out. So congrats to you on your 40-pound weight loss, reaching goal as an online-only member. Man, I tell you, online only is tough. I don't have the willpower to get it done online only. I've tried a couple different times. I would open the app for maybe a week or so. I've done it for the 16 years that I was, essentially a Weight Watcher. I paid for many of them and never even opened the app. So I was an online member. I always kept at least the online piece because my why never went away. The why was always strong. So I refused to quit paying. I just couldn't find the willpower to get it done. But you clearly have. And so, maybe at some point we need to connect into an interview session to maybe bring you in on the show just so we can talk about what that mindset is. Cause that's a whole different mindset. That's a whole, the willpower needed to be online only, I admire. And so very, very cool. So for me, this last go around, I even tried online again because let's face it, it's cheaper, right? It's significantly more cost effective. But in my scenario, March 1st, I said, a year and a half ago, I said, I'm going to be online only because I want to get this thing done. So March 1st, I tracked everything I ate. March 2nd, I tracked everything I ate. March 3rd, I tracked everything I ate. March 4th, I started tracking just about everything I ate. March 5th, I tracked some of what I ate. And that's the trend for me. because I didn't have that accountability system. I didn't have my tribe. I didn't have a group of people that I could rely on to get it done. So you're absolutely right. The Connect community is a game changer. I didn't tap into that fully in the beginning, so maybe that would be a difference. I hear this podcast helps, and there's personal coaching online. We talk about that. Personal coaching is certainly an additional resource where you can have an online coach work with you. There is a cost to that. I don't know the details on that. It's not something I did, but I've seen other people do it and have success with that. But when you ask me here, how do I get excited about being at goal and maintaining my goal? Well, for me, my goal is a feeling. I get excited about what I can actually do now. Things that I couldn't do a year and a half ago, things that I wouldn't do 2 years ago, those are what I call, obviously, the non-scale victories. And so I want you to get a journal. I want you to get a journal where you can write down things that you all of a sudden experience. And so, for instance, tonight is a great example. I'm getting ready for the show. I'm writing notes for the show, getting it all ready. And outside is, my daughter and her boyfriend outside sitting in the driveway. And so, I want to spend a little bit of time with them. So we went outside and we just threw the football for about 30 minutes. Just throwing the football back and forth. That's something I wouldn't normally be doing if I was 70 pounds, 91 pounds overweight like I was. I would not even bother going outside. So that's something that I'm going to make a note of. That's something I wouldn't do a year and a half ago. And that's something that, I'm like, yes, I only can do that at goal. So for me, goal is a feeling. I stay excited that every morning I get dressed and I don't have to fear that the clothes aren't going to fit. I write that stuff down. Every morning I put on a pair of 31-inch jeans and I go, wow, 31. It's still wearing a 31-inch jeans. That's amazing to me. For a guy that, I haven't worn 31-inch jeans in decades. A medium t-shirt, and I actually went for a run yesterday in a small t-shirt. So those are the types of things that keep me from not having to stare at a scale and be happy that a scale is going to give me a 91-pound weight loss. The fact that you haven't seen major losses in a year, what you really need to do is celebrate your life. No one can take that feeling away from you. The feeling of being at a point where you no longer want to lose weight. You no longer are fighting and feel terrible about how you look, about how you feel. You're not embarrassed anymore about the look and feel that you have. That's not going away. No one can take that from you. That is what powers you through. When you walk into a room and you know that you look good, you write that down. And you keep it to yourself, right? Because the world will think you're crazy if you share it too much, but you keep that kind of stuff to yourself and you be proud of who you become because you did hard work. Clearly you stayed focused. Clearly you had discipline to do this online. And so Rachel, super proud of you. Great job. Way to go. Next up is Shell. She says, I'm an online only member. I've lost 48 pounds since the first part of November. And your podcast has helped me to keep me focused on my weight loss goal, which is still 20 pounds away. Quick question. I noticed on a recent post that you ended your day with 6 smart points left over. If I'm not hungry, am I okay to not eat within the 3 points of my daily target, like we're encouraged to do with the blue dot range? Many days I need those points, but some days I'm just not hungry, and I feel like I'm forcing myself to that magic number of smart points. During your weight loss stage, did you frequently eat below that daily range? Thanks in advance for your guidance on this topic. Well, again, Shell, great job on your focus for being an online member. That's 48 pounds is incredible work. It's another person that hats off to because, I couldn't get it done online only, but you clearly are getting it done. Here's what I'd say. The fact that what you're doing is working is where you need to focus. So in my scenario only, so I didn't, just like you, if I wasn't hungry, I wasn't going to eat. I wasn't going to eat just for the sake of eating points. Now, during my 91-pound weight loss transformation, there were days that I would leave 6, sometimes 10 points on the table because I ate enough protein during the day, ate enough good food during the day that I was really satisfied when the bedtime came around. There's some days on a weekend when I slept in till noon. Well, you skip breakfast. I'm not going to eat breakfast just because I woke up at noon. It happened once or twice. So I have a rule. If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. If I'm not hungry, I'm not going to eat. So as I was losing my weight, what that meant was there were some days I had 10 points left over. There were some days I had 2 or 3 points left over. There were some days I dug deep into my weeklies. So it all played into how I felt at that moment, and I stayed mindful to it. I never ate just for the sake of eating, and I didn't get to the point where I needed to go eat because I had the points left over. So that's how I did it. I'm pretty confident. When I was losing the weight, the 91-pound weight loss, when I was losing that, the blue dots didn't exist. That was a feature that was added shortly thereafter. I wish I could go back and look at it. I'm fairly confident that if I could look at my blue dot range for that time period, that easily it would have been 2/3 of the month was blue dots. The days that I missed the blue dots would be days that I underate a touch. And I don't think ever, maybe a handful, 1 or 2, did I go over. But it all stems from the types of food you eat. If you eat a good, healthy breakfast and a good, healthy lunch and a good, healthy dinner, sometimes you can find some really low point bargains and you don't need all the points, but you have to work the program to its entirety. If you did that every single day, you wouldn't have the 48-pound weight loss that you have because you'd put your body into a mode where it's trying to preserve and take care of you, and that's not going to work. So you continue doing what you're doing. That's what I'm going to focus. Don't overthink this, right? You've lost 48 pounds online only. When's the last time you lost 48 pounds? Right. So you've been focused, you've been disciplined, and what you are working and what you are doing for you works. Stick with it and go get it done. So thanks, Michelle, out of Lexington, Tennessee. Cathy writes in, I'm very happy to report that I've had my 21 blue dot challenge. I'm 19 out of 21, and I will continue this habit from now on. Cathy, great job. The blue dots are kind of the key, right? The blue dots keep us on that healthy eating range we just talked about. There is an episode dedicated directly or deliberately to the blue dot program. So if you're not familiar with that, one of the early episodes, I don't have the number off the top of my head. I apologize for that. But in the teens, there's an episode, I think it's 18 is my guess. 18 is the blue dot, talks about how the blue dots work and go from there. But congrats on your streak of blue dots. That's where the success is. When people can come to me and they say they're struggling, one of the first questions I pose back to them is, how are you doing with your blue dots? Because that matters. If you're not getting, blue dots 3/4 of the month, that's where you start. If you're not getting blue dots 6 out of 7 days a week, that's where you start. And so the fact that you're 19 out of 21, you're doing fantastic work. You're clearly on the right path. You're clearly going to make goals. So keep up the great work. So I want to end the show with a couple quick things. Operation FatDag, if you're following along, you know about that. I've been invited to talk 3 more times. The groups are going to get larger. So go to FatDag.com, click on Operation FatDag. You'll see the address there. I'll put some posts out on Facebook and Connect, but I really could, again, use your support. Send in your letters, and I will hand them in. Your words of encouragement. We'll get them handed off to the soldiers who I speak with. I got a speaking engagement this week on Friday up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So if you're up in that area, go to fatdag.com, click on my event tab. You'll see all the places that I'm going to be speaking, but I got 2 meetings up there that I'll be speaking at. And then certainly get the app. If you haven't downloaded the Apple app or the Android app, that's the best way to hear the show because that's where the videos are going to be. You get an alert when the app pops up automatically. And at the very bottom of that in the show notes, I started putting links for ways if you're really inclined to, you can support the show. And because just go ahead and just show me that you're out there, you're listening, you care, and we'll continue to build this community out there. So follow those links to get what you want to go. But more importantly, I want to know, what are you celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on listen now, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations because I want you to be proud of what you're doing. What you're doing is hard work. You're clearly focused on your goals. You're getting it done. You're disciplined. And if you're not proud of yourself, then that's where we need to start. So send in those celebrations. Go ahead and you can tag me on Twitter at Wise Advice. Tag me at Instagram at Wise Advice. But for now, that's going to do it for this time. Remember, losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goals and go after it. I wish you good focus.